An insane winter pattern is about to unleash on America. And it's going to happen faster than anything we've seen in 5 years. Over 100 million people could be impacted by what's coming in the next 7 days. We're talking about multiple blizzards, life-threatening Arctic cold, and temperatures that could plunge to minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Some areas will see their entire winter's worth of snow in just 72 hours. The critical question you need answered right now: is your city in the path of destruction? By the end of this emergency briefing, you'll know exactly when each storm strikes, which areas face minus 40 wind chills, and the one day this week that separates inconvenience from catastrophe. And in exactly 30 seconds, I'll reveal which major metro area could see blizzard conditions so severe that the National Weather Service is already using the word life-threatening in their early discussions. Then, at minute 5, the complete hour-by-hour breakdown of when the Arctic blast hits your region. But first, you need to understand why meteorologists are calling this pattern truly insane. Here's what should terrify you, and this is at the 30-second mark as promised. Minneapolis and the Twin Cities metro could face sustained blizzard conditions Tuesday night, with snowfall rates of 3 inches per metro hour. That's blinding snow, zero visibility, and winds gusting to 50 miles per hour. Over 4 million people in the direct path. Roads will become impassable, airports will shut down completely, and this is just the first wave. But here's the twist nobody's talking about yet: Tuesday's blizzard is just the warm-up act. The real danger arrives Thursday when the jet stream collapses and unleashes the coldest air in a decade. Let me show you what's happening in the atmosphere right now that has forecasters genuinely concerned. The jet stream, that river of air 5 miles above our heads that controls our weather, is about to buckle in a way we rarely see. Right now, there's already a deep dip over the Northeast and Great Lakes. That's bringing below-average temperatures. But by Wednesday and Thursday, that dip intensifies into what meteorologists call an omega block. Picture the Greek letter omega, that horseshoe shape. When the jet stream forms that pattern, it locks Arctic air in place for days, sometimes weeks. No escape, no warm-up. Just relentless, brutal cold. And the models are showing upper-level winds turning bright yellow on our maps. You know what yellow means? Winds aloft screaming at over 150 miles per hour. Those winds are going to transport massive amounts of Arctic air from northern Canada straight into the heart of America. By Friday and Saturday, we're looking at the most intense cold outbreak since the polar vortex collapse of 2014. Remember that? Natural gas shortages, pipes bursting in millions of homes, over a dozen states declaring emergencies. This could be worse. Question: are you prepared for temperatures 30 to 40 degrees below average for multiple days? Here's the shocking part that just came in from the latest model runs. Some areas of the upper Midwest could see actual air temperatures of minus 20 to minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit by Saturday morning. Not wind chill, actual temperature. Add in the wind, and we're talking about wind chills of minus 40 to minus 50. At minus 40, exposed skin freezes in under 5 minutes. Your car might not start. Pipes freeze solid despite insulation. Going outside becomes genuinely life-threatening. But the Arctic blast isn't the only threat. We're tracking 4 separate snow-producing systems over the next 7 days. 4. That's unprecedented for early December. Let me break this down because the timing is critical. System number 1 is happening right now. This morning, snow is falling across Virginia, North Carolina, and West Virginia at rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour. By this afternoon, widespread 1 to 5 inches across the mid-Atlantic. Some locations in southern Virginia could see 6 to 7 inches. This isn't the big story, though. This is just proof that the pattern has shifted. The atmosphere is primed, and what's coming next is orders of magnitude worse. System number 2 develops Tuesday. This is the monster. An Alberta Clipper. That's a fast-moving storm system that drops out of Canada like an Arctic freight train. This one forms over the northern plains Tuesday morning and rapidly intensifies as it races across Minnesota and Wisconsin. Here's the timeline that could shut down the upper Midwest. Tuesday morning, 6 a.m. Freezing rain and snow break out across North Dakota and northwestern Minnesota. Roads instantly become ice rinks. Tuesday afternoon, 2 p.m. The storm explodes in intensity over central Minnesota. This is when it gets dangerous. Snow rates ramp up to 2 to 3 inches per hour. Winds increase to 40 miles per hour sustained. Gusts to 60. Tuesday evening, 6 p.m. Blizzard conditions spread across northern Minnesota and northern Wisconsin. We're talking about whiteout visibility, 0. You cannot see the hood of your car. Snowdrifts of 3 to 5 feet form in hours. Cities like Duluth, Eau Claire, Wausau, you're in the bullseye. Green Bay starts seeing heavy snow by 7 p.m. The entire region basically shuts down. The best part is coming at 3 minutes and 20 seconds where I reveal the shocking snowfall totals and why this could be a top 10 storm for some cities. Tuesday night, 10 p.m. The snow continues hammering Wisconsin and the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. But now the heaviest bands shift east toward the thumb of Michigan and northern Michigan. These areas could see sustained snowfall rates of 3 inches per hour for 6 to 8 hours straight. Wednesday morning, 6 a.m. The storm weakens but spreads into the northeast. Inland New England sees accumulating snow. Coastal areas mostly rain. But don't let that fool you, we'll come back to that. Wednesday night. Significant lake-effect snow develops off Lake Ontario near Watertown, New York. This could dump another 6 to 12 inches on top of what's already fallen. As promised at 3 minutes and 20 seconds, here are the totals that should make you stop and pay attention. North Dakota to northern Michigan corridor, widespread 6 to 10 inches. That's the baseline. Near Duluth, Minnesota, 12 to 14 inches possible. This could be their biggest early December snow in 20 years. Northern Wisconsin, 12 to 16 inches in the heaviest bands. Upper Peninsula of Michigan, 10 to 14 inches. But here's the kicker. Minneapolis, Des Moines, Chicago, Milwaukee, you might see almost nothing. Maybe an inch or two at most. This is a razor-thin corridor of heavy snow. Shift the track 30 miles and everything changes. That's why the exact forecast matters. And that's why you need to keep watching because the details are still evolving. Now let me tell you about the wild card that has forecasters arguing in the weather office. Thursday brings another potential winter storm, but this one's track is highly uncertain. It could form over the northern plains and dive south, potentially bringing significant snow to areas that missed Tuesday's storm, or it could stay weak and just produce scattered snow showers. The reason for the uncertainty? That massive high-pressure system bringing the Arctic air? It's going to be so strong that it could suppress storm development. Or it could force storms to track further south than normal. We've got two completely different scenarios on the table. Scenario 1. The storm organizes and tracks through Kansas, Missouri, and the Ohio Valley. This would bring heavy snow to cities like Kansas City, St. Louis, Cincinnati, maybe even as far south as Louisville and Nashville. We're talking potential for 6 to 12 inches. Scenario 2. The high-pressure winds. The storm stays weak. You get scattered snow showers but nothing organized. Maybe an inch or two, accumulation at most. Right now, Scenario 2 looks more likely. But Mother Nature has a way of surprising us. Don't miss what I'm about to tell you about the Arctic blast because that part is locked in stone. Question. Have you ever experienced true Arctic air? Not just cold. Not just below freezing. I'm talking about air so cold that your lungs hurt when you breathe. That's what's coming. Here at Minute 5, the complete Arctic blast timeline is promised. Thursday night, 11 p.m., the Arctic front drops into Montana and North Dakota. Temperatures crash 20 to 30 degrees in 3 hours. This is the leading edge. Friday morning, 6 a.m., the coldest air of the season spreads into Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Nebraska. Morning temperatures of -5 to -15. Wind chills of -25 to -35. Friday afternoon, 3 p.m., the cold reaches its maximum extent. It blankets the entire northern tier from the Rockies to New England. Over 60 million people experiencing dangerous cold. Here's where it gets really serious. The actual air temperature at 5,000 feet altitude is forecast to be -22 degrees Celsius. That's -8 Fahrenheit at elevation. Why does that matter? Because it guarantees surface temperatures will be brutal. There's simply no way to warm up air that cold as it sinks to the ground. Friday night into Saturday morning, this is the peak. The most intense Arctic air sits right over the upper Midwest. Cities like Minneapolis, Green Bay, Marquette, you're looking at low temperatures of -15 to -25 degrees. Some rural areas could hit -30. Add wind to that, and the wind chill values become incomprehensible. -40 to -50 across large areas. At those values, frostbite occurs in 2 to 3 minutes, hypothermia in under 10 minutes if you're not properly dressed. Saturday afternoon, the cold air expands eastward. Now it's draping across New York City, Boston, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. These cities won't see -30 like the Midwest, but they'll see temperatures 30 to 40 degrees below average. New York City, high temperature around 15 degrees, wind chill near zero. For a city that's seen mild weather lately, this will be shocking. Boston, high in the low 20s, feels like 5 degrees. The city could see its coldest day since January 2019. But here's the shocking development that just came in. There are two possible scenarios for how far south this Arctic air reaches, and the difference affects over 50 million additional people. Scenario A. The more likely case, the jet stream stays zonal. That means it runs more west to east across the northern tier. The Arctic air stays locked into the northern states. Places like Tennessee, Kentucky, the Carolinas see a cold front but nothing extreme. Scenario B. The concerning case, the jet stream dips deeper south. In this scenario, Arctic air makes it all the way to the Gulf Coast. We're talking hard freezes in Atlanta, Birmingham, even potentially Memphis and Little Rock. Over 100 million people east of the Rockies impacted by dangerous cold. Right now, Scenario A is favored, but we're watching closely. Because if that jet stream shifts even 50 miles, Scenario B becomes reality. And here's what nobody's telling you about extended Arctic outbreaks. They kill people, not from snow, from the cold itself. Carbon monoxide poisoning spikes when people use generators indoors trying to stay warm. Heart attacks increase as people shovel snow in extreme cold. Elderly folks die from hypothermia when heating systems fail. Homeless populations face life or death situations. In the polar vortex of 2014, over 20 people died directly from the cold, dozens more from secondary effects. This outbreak could be comparable. Question: do you have a backup heating source if your power goes out? Let me paint you a picture of what Saturday morning looks like for the Johnson family in Fargo, North Dakota. They wake up at 7 a.m. The power went out during the night. Inside, temperature has dropped to 48 degrees. Outside, -22 with wind chills of -45. Their pipes haven't frozen yet, but they're close. Their car won't start. The battery is dead from the cold. Their cell phones are dying because they couldn't charge overnight. And their elderly mother lives alone 15 miles away. What do? This is a genuine survival situation. Or consider the Martinez family driving on Interstate 94 Tuesday night during the blizzard. Visibility drops to zero. They slide into the ditch. The car is stuck. It's 20 degrees outside with snow falling at 3 inches per hour. They run the engine for heat, but the exhaust pipe is partially blocked by snow. Carbon monoxide starts filling the cabin. They don't realize it until they start feeling drowsy. These aren't scare tactics. These are real scenarios that happen every major winter event. The difference between prepared and unprepared is literally life and death when you're dealing with blizzards and -40 wind chills. Now let me tell you what's happening in other parts of the country, because this isn't just a northern story. The Pacific Northwest is getting absolutely hammered with rain today. We're talking 5 to 7 inches in parts of western Oregon and Washington. Flooding is a major concern. Rivers are rising. Mudslides are possible in burn scar areas. And here's the connection. That massive storm system in the Pacific is what's feeding energy into the pattern. It's part of the same weather system that's creating this insane setup. By Friday, the Rockies north of Denver get heavy snow. Could see 1 to 2 feet in the mountains. But that storm weakens as it moves east because of that dominant high pressure. The high pressure is the key to everything. It's bringing the Arctic air. It's suppressing storms. It's controlling the entire pattern for the next week. And here's the part that should concern everyone. This pattern could persist beyond next week. Long-range models show the cold air retreating slightly early next week, but staying anchored in the northeast. And there are hints of additional storm systems after December 15th. We could be looking at a sustained active winter pattern through Christmas. Multiple storms. Persistent cold. The kind of December that people remember for years. The Climate Prediction Center has already issued outlooks showing high probability of below normal temperatures from the Rockies to the Atlantic through December 20th. That's 10 days from now. And precipitation odds favor above normal, which in this temperature regime means snow. Don't miss this critical information about what you need to do in the next 48 hours. Step 1. If you're in the Tuesday blizzard zone, Minnesota, Wisconsin, the Dakotas, Upper Michigan, complete all preparations by Monday night. After that, conditions deteriorate rapidly. Stock up on food, water, medications, fill gas tanks, get cash from ATMs in case power fails and card readers don't work. Charge all devices. Step 2. If you're anywhere in the northern tier, prepare for the Arctic blast by Wednesday. Test generators. Stock up on heating fuel. Insulate pipes. Bring pets inside. Step 3. Know your cold weather safety. Frostbite signs, numbness, white or grayish skin, hypothermia signs, shivering, confusion, slurred speech. If you see these, get warm immediately and seek medical help. Step 4. Have a communication plan. Cell towers can fail in extreme cold and during blizzards. Know how to reach family members. Check on elderly neighbors and relatives. Step 5. Avoid travel during the worst conditions. Tuesday afternoon through Wednesday across the northern tier, stay off roads if possible. Friday through Sunday when the cold peaks, minimize time outside. The economic impact of this pattern is already being calculated. Airlines are pre-canceling flights. School districts are planning closures. Businesses in affected areas could see disruptions for days. But more important than economics is safety. And safety requires preparation and smart decision-making. Let me give you the complete 7-day outlook one more time because this is critical. Monday, snow continues mid-Atlantic this morning. Otherwise quiet before the storm. Use this day to prepare. Tuesday, major blizzard northern tier, life-threatening conditions Minnesota, Wisconsin. Travel becomes impossible. Wednesday, storm spreads weakening snow to northeast. Cold front begins moving south. Thursday, possible second storm, but uncertain. Arctic air arrives northern plains. Friday, Arctic blast spreads to entire northern tier. Dangerous cold for 60 million people, some of the coldest air in a decade. Saturday, peak cold. -20 to -30 possible upper Midwest. Wind chills -40 to -50. Cold expands east to major cities. Sunday, cold persists but begins retreating slightly. Still dangerous across much of the region. The comparison to 2014's polar vortex is apt. That was a generational cold outbreak. This has similar potential. Question: where were you during the polar vortex? Do you remember how brutal it was? Because this could bring those memories flooding back. Now, here's what we're watching closely for potential next week. There are indications of additional storm systems. The jet stream pattern could support nor'easter development along the coast. If that happens, cities like New York, Boston, Philadelphia could see significant snow. But that's still 7 to 10 days out. Too early for specifics. What I can tell you is the pattern favors active weather continuing. Tomorrow, I'll have updated forecasts as overnight models complete. Tuesday morning, real-time updates on the developing blizzard. Wednesday, the latest on where the Arctic air is going and whether Scenario B becomes reality. You cannot afford to miss these updates. The difference between knowing and not knowing could mean the difference between being prepared and being in danger. Share this information. Send it to family and friends in affected areas. Post it everywhere. Because the more people who know what's coming, the fewer emergencies we'll have. This is the biggest winter weather story of December. Possibly the season. It's real. It's happening. And it starts in less than 24 hours. The pattern is locked. The science is clear. Multiple threats converging at once. Blizzards. Arctic cold. Potential for widespread impacts. But knowledge is power. You now know what's coming. You know when it's coming. You know what to do. Use the next day wisely. Prepare thoroughly. Make smart decisions. Check on vulnerable people in your life. And tomorrow, I'll be back with the latest developments because this is a rapidly evolving situation. Things could still shift. Details will be refined. But the big picture is set. Winter is here. And it's coming with a vengeance. Stay safe out there.